we got breaking news, the first trade of the deadline day, and it is the Indiana Pacers trading Buddy Hield to the Philadelphia 76ers for Marcus Morris, Korsmaz, and 3 second-round picks, per reports from both Adrian Wojnarowski as well as Shams. Now, look, this is a solid pickup for the Sixers. This is something that was reported and even talked about and discussed yesterday. We got some various reports that things were kind of heating up, things were getting a little intense as far as the conversations go, and that the Sixers were leaning heavily into acquiring Buddy Hield. From an Indiana Pacers standpoint, right, this is more about just getting something for Buddy Hield, a guy that they've shopped and tried to acquire assets for on numerous occasions. I mean, even last year, him and Miles Turner were packaged together and expected to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. That ends up falling through, and then they've shopped him since basically the offseason, haven't been able to get anything. So for the Indiana Pacers, this is looked at as like, okay, let's get some assets, let's get some pieces, let's get some stuff that makes sense for us to maybe pivot, make another move next season or in the offseason, things like that, as well as just get some vets and some quality pieces that you can actually utilize and potentially have as just pieces for depth and bench versatility and things like that. Again, no one really stands out as far as the Buddy Hield trade goes on the Indiana Pacers side, right? There's no one that you're looking at and going, oh man, that's the guy, that's the piece, right? But Marcus Morris, Korsmaz, those are 2 guys that I do believe can find themselves in a role for the Indiana Pacers, assuming that neither of them get bought out or anything like that. For them, it's just clearing salary, getting some assets for a guy that you're probably losing in the offseason regardless. So I do like this move for the Indiana Pacers. Now, as far as the Philadelphia 76ers go, look, they need all the help they can get, right? Joel Embiid is out for the foreseeable future. Who knows how long he's going to be out for? The hope is that he returns sooner rather than later. And the Sixers are a sinking ship right now. They are currently the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. What's interesting is the Indiana Pacers are the 6th seed, and they're 2 games back of the Sixers. It's kind of funny that the 2 teams that are fighting for the 5th and 6th seed are the 2 teams that just made a deal for one of the other sharpshooters, right? So Philadelphia, they get a true shooter, somebody that can start, come off the bench, and just give them some elite reliability in that regard. And then when Joel Embiid comes back, they'll be able to kind of just have him. I'm curious to see if they start Buddy Hield or if they bring him off the bench, right? Because how does the Maxey Hield backcourt, how does that look? Is that something that they can defensively handle out there, or does that become a bit of a liability? Buddy Hield is not the best defense player. Maxey's pretty good, but it's going to be interesting. But nonetheless, as far as Buddy Hield goes this season, again, he's a Philadelphia 76er, so what is he going to provide? What is he going to bring? Now, his numbers are down for Indiana, although I do think he could pick them back up for the Philadelphia 76ers, because I just think he's going to have a much bigger role personally. This is a guy that was, 15 to 18 points per game. Last season, he averaged 17. The year before that, he averaged 18.2. This season, he's averaging 12 points. He's averaging 3 assists, 3 rebounds. We'll be kind, 1 steal, 1 block. We'll round it up. He's shooting 85% from the foul line. He has an EFG of 57.5%, 2-point range 57.5%. From 3 this season, his numbers are down from last year. Again, his production and his utilization this season has been down across the board. But last year, he was averaging 8.5 attempts from 3-point range and shooting 42.5%. This season, for the Indiana Pacers, he's shooting 6.9 attempts, so basically 1.5 attempts less, and he is shooting 38.4% from three-point range, which is still very good. Don't get me wrong, right? 38% for any player is an excellent percentage rate. He is down from 31 minutes last year per game to 25.7 minutes this year. Also, field goal attempts. He was averaging 13 last season. He's averaging 10 this season, so 3 fewer attempts. He's shooting 44.3% compared to 45% last year. So again, you add those other 3 attempts, he's basically a 15 to 17 point a game player, right? This is good. This is a solid pickup for the Philadelphia 76ers. This really gets them and puts them in a position to where, they get that offensive firepower, that offensive punch, but also a guy that makes sense and can play alongside Joel Embiid. This is something that Philadelphia, I think, is needed for some time. That just like lethal go-to shooter that is high volume, can knock him down with consistency, is a threat off ball, so you don't have to take the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands. Right? It's a guy you can keep the ball in his hands, and you constantly have him in some actions where he's playing off ball, and defenses have to constantly be on guard, be aware, and cautious of Buddy Hield. So, he's still very young, 31 years old. I could see the Philadelphia 76ers working a deal out to re-sign him long term. I know Philly, they want to kind of preserve cap space and they want to preserve flexibility. But, regardless of what your plans are in the offseason, Buddy Hield makes a lot of sense for the Sixers alongside whatever else you're planning on doing, right? Even if it is to go get a third star. Buddy Hield in a bench role or a starting role, I just think is very valuable to have. Again, there's very few shooters to the level that Buddy Hield is. You're talking about a guy that is year in and year out a league leader and just made threes and attempts. Again, his production's down this year, but I do believe it'll get back up with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think that this is a solid move, really, for both sides. Again, Indiana, they get something rather than nothing, right? They're not just losing Buddy Hield in the offseason for nothing. And Philly gets an actual piece that helps now and for the foreseeable future. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel about the Philadelphia 76ers making the trade for Buddy Hield? Who do you think won the trade? Who do you think, would you give the nod to? Do you think that this is huge for Philly? Do you think it moves the needle at all? Or do you look at it as like, this is just, nothing major, nothing significant. Just another move for another guy. Or do you think like, no, this is a guy that, again, his three-point shooting, what he's capable to do out on the basketball court is just massive. Again, whatever your thoughts are, however you feel, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.